Finally tonight, 35 years ago, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe met in a hi-fi shop on the King's Road. They went on to form the Pet Shop Boys and have had more than 20 top 10 singles and won countless awards since. Now, as they release their 13th album, they're bringing their unmistakable brand of electronica to the Royal Opera House. They spoke to Lucrezia Millerini about how they're hoping to shake things up.
It's all the fans will get for now, but they will recognise the unmistakable sound of the Pet Shop Boys. This teaser hailing the release of a new album, plus a residency here at the Royal Opera House. It's where I met them today to talk exclusively to them about that and how London is still inspiring them.
There were a few hints that it was coming out, because there was a little bit on Twitter, on the fan forum page, like, I think something's coming, I think something's happening.
Well, we had a sort of poster campaign around Europe with the logo for Super, leading you to a website, which then went live today at 1 o'clock. And so it's been quite exciting. Although it didn't take people very long to realise, because it said, what is Super? It didn't take people very long to realise.
But there was no question mark, so you might have doubted that it was us, because we're sticklers for punctuation.
That's a good point.
It was the London music scene back in the early 80s that brought them together and inspired the sound that has for so many years permeated the charts. Super is their 13th studio album. It was partly written here, still with nods to those formative times.
Yeah, the song called The Pop Kids is going to be the first single. Someone I know who moved down to London from Birmingham and went to university. He made friends with a girl, and they spent most of their first 2 years at university going out clubbing every night because they couldn't believe how great it was.
You met in an electronics shop on the King's Road. Did you ever think back then that you'd end up here at the Royal Opera House?
Well, obviously we didn't imagine that. It's amazing, this year it is 30 years since our first album came out, which seems sort of astonishing. But through those 30 years we've always pursued interest in songwriting, interest in dance music, an interest in a sort of theatrical kind of performance.
Your shows have been described as spectacles, as being spectacular. What can your fans expect here? What are you doing differently?
I don't know if they've ever done this before. The orchestra pit is becoming a sort of mosh pit. So we're selling 80 tickets every night where you can stand and dance, and without interrupting the view of the people sitting down. And I think that'll be quite an exciting place to be.
Do you still get nervous?
Yes. I think you'd be daft if you didn't.